First till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah. No, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till
So hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about my university application process to just sort of give you an idea of what you do when you apply to university, and also I'm going to share with you my personal statement. I think some people think this isn't right to do this online. Sorry, I'm like now against my wardrobe, so if you hear the wardrobe door closing, that's what it is. And yeah, so I thought I may as well just to give you an insight into how I wrote my personal statement. And I am studying children's nursing, so it will be of benefit, even though it's personal to me, so you wouldn't write that. I think it will be really helpful for some people just to get an idea of the structure to write it in. I'm not saying mine's very good or the best, but I got into uni with it, so I must have done something right. And first I was going to say, the first thing to do when wanting to study at university, whatever degree you're doing, is maybe look up sort of what uni you might like to go to, and the actual website, what uni, this isn't sponsored by the way, is a really good website to look up, and it gives you loads of tips on applying to university, like people's experiences, like frequently asked questions. So it helps you understand what you want to be looking for in a university and what might be beneficial for you, for different people. Sorry, I've got some notes written down there, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. And so the reason sort of I chose children's nursing was obviously I love children, but I wanted to work with sick children just to get that rewarding but challenging job that is just so happy and motivational, but also obviously you get the sad times, but you're helping parents and their families and providing like expertise and working with different professionals to help the child improve and be back to health. So yeah, that's the main reason I chose children's nursing, and obviously I wanted to work in a hospital environment which was like fast paced, and yeah, I just really like the idea of working within a multi-professional team. So that's the main reason I chose it really, but I was thinking, this was a long time ago though, but when I actually applied to uni I knew I wanted to do children's nursing. I wasn't ever torn between adult, mental health, learning disability or anything like that, but I did want to do midwifery at one point, and I was like, should I do midwifery or should I do children's nursing? I researched a bit about midwifery, what it was all about. I found out it was more about the mum, looking after her. Yeah, you support the mum during labour, but then you sort of hand on to health visitors and all the different professionals, and you don't have much involvement within the child, and only mums for short periods of time whilst they're in labour. And so I thought that wasn't for me. I wanted to be more involved in the families and children, so that's why I chose children's nursing over midwifery in my personal experience. I looked on like websites of people that had done children's nursing degree and what they thought of it and how it was structured and all the modules and things, and everyone said good things about it. And yeah, and also I chose it on a basis that it's 50% placement and 50% exams, so you're getting that experience hands-on all the time whilst you're in your placement sections, and I really liked that idea. I thought that was really going to benefit me for being confident in my future job, and yeah, you would just gain more knowledge on placement. Next thing, really early on, is to look around on open days. It will really help you get a feel for different unis. In my experience. I don't know why I keep saying experience in my process, more or less. I looked round Plymouth, Bournemouth, Worcester, Bristol, Cardiff, and I got into 4 of those. I got into Bristol and Cardiff and Plymouth. Oh no, I didn't get into Plymouth. I got an interview for Plymouth, but I wasn't offered a place. And Bournemouth, I didn't like it when I went round, so I didn't apply for it. Yeah, that was it. And Worcester, I got an interview for. I got in. Plymouth, I got an interview. I didn't get in. Just said that. And Cardiff, I got in as well. And obviously Bristol, I got in. That's the one I chose. And yeah, it was just sort of like loads of factors that led me to choose a different particular uni, but I've got another video on that I've done previously for this Uni Talk Tuesdays, so if you want that, I'll link that below. And yeah, so that was the reason I picked UE Bristol. But open days are really beneficial, and you can speak to students that have done the course, and that's really helpful as well. And that really does help you make your decision, because if they liked it there, then you're most likely to like it there. And about how you can tell how enthusiastic they are about the course when you're walking around and you're speaking to them, whether or not it's a good sort of vibe from the uni. And also the staff, whether they're really like talking about it in a beneficial way, in a really upbeat way, rather than just talking about it like blandly. You can sort of tell the funness in the course and how good they are, essentially. So when it actually comes to you've made the decision and you're writing your personal statement for that particular uni, definitely look up what that uni looks for, and there'll be different things for different degrees on what they want in that personal statement, but make sure you look up that, because you want your personal statement to be tailored to the course you're applying for, and there's no point talking about random things that won't be relevant if that's not the course you're doing. And now what I thought I'd do is sort of read over my personal statement, and yeah, it's on my phone here. So I'm going to read it now. It might take a while, but I'm going to try and read it quite fast. But I'm also going to put it on the screen if you did want to read it yourself. But obviously don't do the same as me. Mine will be completely different to yours because everyone's is unique. But I just thought this might give you an idea of what to write. So I put, I developed a curiosity for children's nursing when I broke my ankle at the age of 9, which helped me to gain a real insight into what it feels like to be cared for. The nurse's reassurance and compassion before I went to theatre and on the ward was undoubtedly a very positive experience. Additionally, the interesting topics I studied in my child development GCSE confirmed further that I wanted to work in this profession. I understand that both the course and career will be rewarding yet challenging. However, I believe I am prepared for this due to the units I have studied at college and the varied work experience placements I have completed. During my placements, I have learned to respect and support the diversity of people's experiences, lifestyles and backgrounds. In one setting, I was working with children and young adults in respite care who suffer from disabilities and special educational needs. I now use empathy when communicating, especially with non-verbal children, and I am able to notice that noises, body language and facial expressions have to be read carefully to understand the child's needs. I have worked closely with professionals in a nursery and a kindergarten, where I have learned that communicating with the families was just as important as helping the children develop. Working in, I'm not going to say the hospital that I worked in, on the children's ward has given me a real life example of what may take place on a day-to-day basis. Nurses are required to promote professionalism and trust, a code which is essential in order to engage children and ensure they have the best possible experience during their stay in hospital. I have been able to take my anatomy and physiology studies from college into the hospital environment, which has aided my understanding when observing children having wound dressings and blood tests carried out. Furthermore, my placement in a GP surgery has been valuable, as I have been able to gain a taste of how a multidisciplinary team works. I have also attended a nursing workshop where I have found out about the number of specialised roles available in nursing. And then I've gone on. What I'm going to read now is to talk about like the things I have completed, rather than the experience I've got. During the National Citizen Service, I developed teamwork and collaboration skills. Our project was designing and constructing a garden for disadvantaged young people, where I learnt how to work with others effectively to achieve our vision in the time we had. Through the Young Leaders programme, I have gained the confidence to be a leader of young girls. To illustrate, that's a new sentence. The Brownies were working on their role plays, where they would often ask for guidance, at which point I was able to offer support, direction and encouragement, much like a nurse would do for their patient. I have demonstrated drive and resilience through my Duke of Edinburgh awards. For instance, on one expedition the team faced extreme weather conditions, but despite these challenges, we were determined not to give up from this experience. From this experience, I am able to deal with challenging situations. My part-time position as a customer service checkout assistant has enabled me to enhance my interpersonal interactions with customers, whereby I know how to treat individuals with respect and dignity whilst in a fast-paced environment. Although these communities I have shown. Sorry, I think this might have been my one before my final, even though I put it as my final, but it's just one on my phone I found, so it might not be the final. I have shown I'm able to meet assignment deadlines and organise my own placements, teaching me to manage my time accordingly. I recognise that the NHS is facing challenges, but realise that nurses are in more demand than ever. I feel I will be a reassuring, sensitive and comforting nurse for sick children and their families at emotionally difficult times. Whilst I am keen to work in this country, I am interested in travelling as a nurse, and I am aiming to specialise in the area I am most passionate about. Knowing that I am making a difference every day, and that my work will be an incredible journey and I know this work will be an incredible journey that I would love to pursue. Yeah, that wasn't my final, that was a few spelling errors, but that's more or less my personal statement, if you heard most of that, because I'm not very good at reading stuff out and saying stuff clearly, but you sort of got a gist. And what I did was I talked about the experiences I had, so I had a lot of things that went towards what nurses do, so I linked it back to that, always back to what nurses do at the end of sort of what I was talking about. And that's the key, I think. Once you explain what you've done, don't just leave it there. Link it to how you think you could be in that course, why you want to do that particular subject. Always link it back. That's the main thing, my main tip for personal statements. And what I say is, don't lie, they'll find out, and when you go to your interview they'll find out the type of person you are. If you do lie in your personal statement, they'll question you and you'll be not willing to answer or not answering in the correct way. Don't waffle on about one thing for ages. You want to have boom things in your personal statement, one after the other, showing your skills, showing what you can give. And yeah, don't do big long waffly sentences about one thing. You can see where I just did a few sentences on each thing, just getting that skill in there that I could give. And yeah, so just if you're doing stuff like healthcare like I did, link to care and compassion and how you would show empathy, because that's what they want to know. They want to know you're not going to shout at patients, you're not going to discriminate, and you're basically willing to take on that role as a nurse, because it is important to be respectful and resilient and all those skills they look for. So I can't really remember the complete pattern or way they did it, but I think I already got my BTEC results quite early in July, and they didn't confirm my place at uni until August. I think that's the way they did it. I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure I knew what I got. But with A-levels, say you did A-levels, it's quite hard to tell what you get, because you would do your exam in the summer and then you would get your result. But with BTEC, I knew sort of all through the year. Sorry, I'm going to have to move. My feet are going dead because I'm on my knees. Sorry. So I sort of knew throughout the year what grade I was going to get, because I was predicted a grade, and if you kept your assignments up to that standard, you would know you're aiming for that and going to get it. So I wasn't worried I wasn't going to get into the uni. I was just worried about the interviews, more or less, yeah, because I didn't know how well I would do in them. And Plymouth was my first uni interview, and I didn't get into that one, so I don't know whether that was because it was my first and I was just nervous and I wasn't in the gist of it, or that it just wasn't a good uni interview, because obviously I got through with my personal statement. So yeah, you do need to be aware of that, and sort of, yeah, just do your best in your exams, obviously, to try and get that place in uni, but also your personal statement does count. And sometimes they do leeway with the your grades by a little bit, but I don't know how much they do it nowadays. I'm saying nowadays, it was only like a year ago I went to uni, but anyway, that. And what else was I going to say? They send you an email and everything gets started up to say whether you were successful, and then you have to go on like My UCAS and decline places you don't want and accept places you do want. So that's the next step really, and then they just keep sending you emails and ways of setting up your like email account and all that stuff. They guide you through it, and nothing's like left to your own. Then you have to apply for student finance, and then yeah, you get into uni and you start. And that's about it, I think, my uni application process. I think everyone applies through UCAS, well, everyone in the UK, I believe, so that is the way to go. And yeah, I wish you all the best if you are applying for uni. And if you haven't seen my face before, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.